much, Mr. McReynolds. I'm ready to go. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys! Texas style!
Johnson was one of those who tiptoed through 1 and 2, backed up a bit. At the front of the field, gets single file into 3.
Larry, I just don't think it's a coincidence that the two of the guys that did the tire test here are coming across the line this first lap, running first and second.
I know as I walked through the garage area yesterday morning, a lot of fingers being pointed at that 16 car of Greg Biffle. He was really happy with his car on Friday and what practice we got.
Kyle Busch. Restraint does not appear in his dictionary. He's going after Clint Boyer, and he is coming to the front on the outside.
He'll pounce around. He'll go around these guys on the outside because everybody fights for the bottom. A lot of room around the outside if you are brave enough to try it.
And he is 7th place to Busch.
Kyle Busch in the 18, Clint Boyer in the 33. 2 of the 15 drivers that will be trying to race for 800 miles total here today. Sprint Cup and Nationwide Series later on.
Another good race car right there. But that 48 car, Larry, I got to believe he's kind of holding his breath these first few laps after what happened to him last fall here in Texas.
Well, I think it happened with that guy that's right behind him, Sam Hornish, in that 77 car.
I'm sure they're giving each other a pretty big wake.
Yeah, Sam Hornish in that 77 cannot keep his car down. You see Casey Kane in the 9 gets to the inside. He really slid up the racetrack last time through 1 and 2.
A few other drivers coming hard to the front after not so great qualifying runs. Mark Martin and Brian Vickers, who had to start at the tail end of the field. Vickers has already gained 12 spots.
And you could see how the front tires on that 77, the car's pushing, front tire's not hooking up, and it really washes up the hill coming off the corner.
Here is Vickers, who started 42nd. He passes Bobby Labonte and moves up into the top 30 in just 4 laps of racing.
Another tire tester, another guy that tire tested here, had a terrible qualifying run.
Juan Pablo Montoya and Matt Kenseth against the 29 of Kevin Harvick. That's back at 19th place.
And Harvick's trying that outside. I really don't think that's a bad thing. There's not a lot of grip anywhere, so we might as well go where everybody isn't.
But looking back at that 17 car, Matt Kenseth, he started back in the 28th position. You've got to believe when it's all said and done, we'll be talking about that 17 car of Kenseth before this thing's well underway.
Yeah, there's 3 guys there you can always kind of keep an eye on. The 17 of Kenseth, the 5 of Martin, and the 31 of Burton. Those guys have a tendency to work their way up to the front at the end of the day.
Big, wide racetrack, and without a groove worked in on the bottom, run anywhere you want and take them as you catch them.
Yeah, there's no dirt, no sand, no rubber buildup, so yeah, grip's pretty good anywhere right now.
Stewart the leader by 0.3 of a second over Greg Biffle. Krista?
Greg Biffle had one simple declaration for his team. He came on the radio 2 laps ago and said simply, the car is really good. Steve.
Well, Krista, expect Jimmy Johnson to run the bottom in 1 and 2. There's a lot of bumps in 1 and 2, and if you get up into them, it upsets the car. 3 and 4, Jimmy's going to move around to find the fast line, but he's going to try to run that bottom in 1 and 2 all day.
Now I'm looking at several drivers, particularly Hornish and Menard, who can't hold their car on the bottom of the racetrack in the early going. Why not?
Well, and like Darrell pointed out, the front tires, they have no grip. The car has what we call a push, and what a push is you're turning the front wheels, but the car's not responding. It's just sliding up the racetrack front end first.
And a crew chief will take a car if he's a little unsure about the car, and maybe the driver wrecked here the last time he was here, he's going to tighten him up. He's going to make that car push so that car won't spin out until they get a chance to feel what the track's going to do. Get the driver in a comfort zone, then work on the car a little bit.
Krista Hornish in the 77 started outside pole, and now he has faded to 8th. What's up?
Well, Mike, you guys nailed it up in the booth. Larry was talking about the car being too tight. DW saying give that driver that comfort. That's exactly what Travis Geisler did for Hornish. Right now the car, they went a little too far. It's just a little bit too tight. So yes, he can't do what he wants to do. They'll have to fix that when they come in on the stops.
Larry, if your driver has a I don't want to say history, but if your driver has a history of getting in trouble because the car is too loose, then what are you going to do? You're
going to keep a little tug on that steering wheel. You're going to keep it kind of tightened up for him where it's not trying to spin out, like you said, especially getting in the corner at the speed you're running.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. alongside Hornish. This will be for 9th place. We're only 10 laps in, but a number of drivers have begun to hunt around, particularly in turns 1 and 2, for a higher line. As Jimmy Johnson comes off 4, he does just that, gains a little ground on Biffle. You see Junior complete the pass on Hornish. Dale started 9th, now running 8th. On the bottom in 1 and 2 pretty much, but for, say, Montoya, who likes the high line no matter where he is. But down in 3 and 4, it's been Johnson running at least a groove higher than the 2 leaders.
Boys, who do you think the fastest car on the track is right now? The 48.
I was going to say, I believe it has something to do with that Lowe's car there. The car running 3rd right now, Jimmy Johnson.
You know, we were talking yesterday in the pre-race show about, is Jimmy Johnson stealing all the wins from his other teammates? You know the frustrating thing about being a teammate to Jimmy Johnson? You know everything he's doing and he's still beating you.
And I think that's the frustration Jeff Gordon especially has been feeling for a number of years.
12 laps complete. Tony Stewart in front of Greg Biffle.
Calling all cars to a high-speed pursuit in progress. Stay tuned for more NASCAR on Fox.
The wing was a little more erratic.
So here's the competition yellow that NASCAR promised the drivers in their morning meeting. This is because the track was washed Saturday and there was no practice. They will throw an early caution flag for the teams to check tire wear, check their setup. Fair for everybody.
Yeah, you know, normally we would have had a nationwide race before we run the Cup race. But because it got rained out yesterday, there is absolutely zero information about the durability of this tire and how far it can actually go.
David Gilliland will be the free pass car, the first car 1 lap down.
And I would anticipate with the give up, we saw probably a second half to a second 3/4 of give up on the stopwatch in 25 laps, that all of our leaders will be on pit road, fill it up with Sunoco race fuel, 4 tires, and I'm sure in the case of a lot of these race cars you're looking at, major adjustments probably to free these cars up a little bit.
Float the car through the trial over here. It doesn't feel like it's really hooked in. It just kind of floats.
How about a little Monday crank it up for this first restart of the day? Biffle backing up a bit. Kyle Busch to 2nd. Jimmy Johnson to 3rd.
I can hear his radio now. What did y'all do to my race car?
Well, you know, one thing I watched him do going through 3 and 4 the last time, he overdrove the corner and he paid the price, and that's how Kyle Busch completed the pass. That's how Jimmy Johnson got back by him. If you see him now, he's all over the back bumper, that 48 car of Johnson.
And that's probably just a product of really, really, really low air pressure, anticipating a pretty long run here.
Matt Kenseth had the same kind of issue on the restart, dropped back just a bit. There he is way up on the high side in front of Paul Menard.
That's really a balancing act, don't you think, Larry, between coming in and making an adjustment, lowering the air pressure, and maybe getting it a little too low, kind of looking for that happy medium.
Dick, what about Kenseth?
Well, one of his big problems in that first run, Mike, was that they had the car set up too low and he was bouncing off the racetrack. And they tried to adjust for that on the pit stop.
Well, I think that's a product, spinning off of what Darrell was saying, low air pressure, and then the speeds we're running. You anticipate the speeds are going to be slower in the race, but I think with the grip this place has, these speeds are pretty fast. Now, right now we're watching Biffle in the 16, Boyer in the 33. This is a battle for 5th. Krista, looks like that 16 car's got his hands full right now.
Yeah, Larry, but really nothing's wrong with the car. It's like you said, they took a little bit of air out of the left rear. Remember, Greg really likes the car. They talked about making an adjustment to the car itself, and Greg Biffle, the driver, driver told Greg Irwin, the crew chief, no, I like the car. Just the air a little low in the left rear, so look for him to come back up anytime.
Boy, we saw the 77 Hornish almost catch the wall off turn 2. And again in this run, Darrell, Sam cannot hold that car on the bottom.
No, the thing just took off. Looked like he had it turned down in there pretty good, but then the front tires just broke loose and the front of the car headed for the wall.
David Rudeman gets underneath Hornish, takes 12th spot away.
You know, back to Krista's report as we got some 3-wide racing down that straightaway you showed a while ago, Mike. This is Ambrose in the 47, Martin in the 5, Kenseth in the 17, Menard in the 98. Right now, this is a battle for about 22nd, 23rd.
And just to help you a little bit, folks, with pushing and loose, pushing is when the front of the car is headed to the wall.
Jeff Burton moving up to 5th, Clint Boyer to 6th. Last week at Phoenix, we had a big cat and mouse game among some of the independent. Now we have a lead change as Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes past Jimmy Johnson and takes over the lead for the first time today.
And I'm going to tell you what, we've got a good crowd here today, just a few empty seats. I think they letting you know that 88 car just took the lead.
They jumped out of their seats.
Pit stops have begun under the green flag, and here comes Kevin Harvick toward Krista.
Kevin Harvick is definitely coming in early because he was sensing a vibration. He had been very happy on this run. They have moved from 18th to 12th, but he said, I've got to come in early. I am feeling something funny, a vibration with this race car.
Brad Keselowski also in right behind Harvick.
And when you have a new tire that you have no information on, data on, the drivers, they start imagining things. If it starts vibrating a little bit, they think, uh-oh, one of those tires coming apart.
One car slow in the backstretch may have caught the wall up in turn number 2, and it's Brian Vickers. He's slow and heading for the pits.
Yeah, Brian had just went a lap down.
He's not going to make it.
And this is not going to be a good break for Kevin Harvick. The caution is out.
Caution's out. Keep it rolling if you can.
I thought he had all but caught the wall out of turn number 2. That must have been when that right rear went down.
Yeah, he definitely got a right rear tire down. When the car comes around like that, it's a pretty good indication the right rear is down.
So Harvick and Keselowski get caught out, making their pit stops before the yellow flag. We'll see how it sorts out with the scoring as Vickers makes it onto pit road for service.
And Mike, this is what I was talking about. Drivers start worrying about these tires on these longer runs.
But the good thing what Harvick and Keselowski will be able to do here is they're obviously going to stay out, and then they'll take the wave around, which means when we get the one to go, they're out on the racetrack behind the pace car. They'll be able to go all the way back around. Yeah, they've given up a lot of track position, but they'll be back on the lead lap with fairly equal tires to the other guys.
Travis Quapp will be the free pass car. And before the lead change, I was saying at Phoenix we had quite a cat and mouse game among some of the independent drivers, each trying to not be the first one out of the race. They'd go in the garage, come back out and run, go in the garage. Well, there'll be no such battle today. Dave Blaney is the first car out, and that's a blow to Michael Waltrip, who had hoped that the 55 car would pile up enough points here in Texas that when Michael climbs aboard it next week at Talladega, they might not have to qualify on time. But Blaney
them down in there, Larry.
Green flag. Green flag to begin. Lap 83. Dale Jr. did not take off with the briskness of Tony Stewart. So Stewart and Jimmy Johnson lead Jr. off turn 2. He's under fire from Jeff Gordon in that Special Forces Chevy.
And that 24 car, I've been watching him. He's inching his way to the lead of this race before long.
Bill Elliott back in the race, one lap down as the Hendrick teammates battle right here.
Well, you look at that 24 car of Jeff Gordon. Remember, 1 year since he's been to victory lane. This was the last time he won, was this race 1 year ago.
Oh, but he's had a couple of really close almostes.
Real close, yeah. Third and second the last 2 races.
Couldas, wouldas, and shouldas.
He'll take that spot away from Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88, but here comes Boyer in that 33, and the guy on the move, aside from Carl Edwards in the 99, is Montoya in that 42. Remember, started 21st. I didn't think there was any question watching him on Friday. He'd be a factor early in this race.
Krista?
Midway through that run, Juan Montoya told his team he felt like he had a top 5 car. They just made a small adjustment. He said he was getting too loose at the end of the run. They asked, do you need anything else? Maybe a grilled cheese. He said, yeah, that'd be nice.
I tell you what, the man loves Mexican food. Every time I run into him or read anything he's doing, he's out at some Mexican restaurant. And he goes to a lot of movies.
Friday was the first time Montoya had qualified outside the top 10 this season. Clint Boyer was all over Dale Jr. trying to grab fourth spot away. That's not going to happen. Not right now.
But you know, back to that 42 car of Montoya, I think it's been one of the cars we've been talking a lot about this year because he made the chase last year. And honestly, last week at Phoenix was the first time that they've closed the deal on a race. They've had a fast race car. They've led laps every week, but they finally got a top 5 finish at Phoenix.
Let's get down to Steve Burns.
Mike with Steve Letarte, crew chief on the 24. Steve, we've talked a lot coming to this race about unknowns, the tires, the spoiler. How is your 24 car right now with those unknowns?
Well, the DuPont National Guard Chevrolet is pretty good. We didn't get a lot of practice, but the team is very well prepared. We got a lot of runs in on Friday. I think it's paying off. Setup-wise, we're a lot like we ran, Las Vegas. So I don't think the spoilers change a whole lot by yourself, but you definitely have to work traffic a lot different. Jeff's doing a very good job with that.
Thanks, Dave.
I haven't seen any indication watching these cars when they're nose to tail that the spoiler is affecting them one way or another. They look pretty neutral to me.
Joey Logano, A.J. Allmendinger, the 43, last week's pole sitter, and last week's winner, the 39, Ryan Newman. They're all battling for 17th. Remember that the 20 started out back after an engine change. And here comes Newman.
You know, another guy that I've been watching since the drop of the green flag, we talked about him just a little bit ago, Denny Hamlin in that 11 car finished second here in the fall race, started 29th. Just think about it. 3 weeks ago today, we raced on Monday at Martinsville. He wins the race. Less than 3 weeks, he was having surgery on his left knee, and here he is showing some gut, just like he did at Phoenix. He's cracked the top 10 now in this 11.
Go ahead, Mike.
A lot of people, including in this booth, questioned his decision to run that whole race at Phoenix and not get out of the car when they had to change the batteries so that he could recuperate faster. He said, "My guys give 100% for me. I want them to know I'm giving 100% for them." And that's why Hamlin stayed in the car and toughed it out. Now, Kurt Busch, currently in 14th position. Let's get out of his pit and learn about this rear spoiler. Matt?
And Kurt Busch has seen both sides of the spectrum, both loose and tight so far. Has Kurt reported any aero tight type issues related more to the spoiler?
He feels like that the car's just got a lot of downforce on the back of the car and is taking the front out of the racetrack. So we'll work on that and see if we can get it back.
All right, he's dropped about 6 or 7 positions since that restart.
Just remember one thing, NASCAR loved that rear wing. I mean, that was their baby. This COT was something they were not going to mess with. So for them to take the wing off, them being NASCAR, and say we're going to put the spoiler on, you can believe there was a lot of research, a lot of development, and a lot of wind tunnel time before they made that change. Because if they're going to change, they want to make it better. They don't want to make it worse.
Here's your interval first to second, Darrell. Tony Stewart over Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Gordon. 92 laps complete in the Samsung Mobile 500 at Texas.
NASCAR Sprint Cup Racing on Fox is sponsored by AT&T Rethink Possible, by new Pennzoil Ultra with hyper cleansing technology, and by Avatar. Bring it home on Blu-ray and DVD April 22nd.
Coming up on 99 laps, that'll be 2:35 to go. Tony Stewart continued the string of no repeat pole winners in 2010. He's led 52 laps, and there you see his lead over Jimmy Johnson, the point standing leader. From fourth to second. And Johnson has led 28 laps today. Jeff Gordon racing for the Special Forces, did a little work with them during this week, a little bit of advanced training with the National Guard. I guess it's helped. He's third. Trouble, turn 3. One car spins right down to the apron, and it is Brian Vickers' second time today.
Yeah, not a good day for that Red Bull team at all.
Not a very happy driver either. They've been in the pits about 10 times working on that thing ever since the first right rear went down. Looks like it could have possibly cut it down again.
Little cheerleading there from Jimmy Johnson.
That was after the pit stop, of course, as Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, all with 2 tires, Jamie McMurray in front of Tony Stewart and Jimmy Johnson with 4. Green flag.
Now, ideally, what you'd like to do with those 4 tires is pounce on those guys with 2. Don't ride around here 3 or 4 laps.
Ooh, boy, Johnson in the 48 got in big trouble down in turn 1 and 2. He really stacked them up behind him.
He almost backed right into Clint Boyer. Trying to get off turn 2, and he's still not right.
And I just think that's a product of what Darrell talked about earlier, is just low air pressure. And the reason these guys run low air pressure in the beginning, on a long run, it gains so much, you have to start the air pressure down.
So the first car with 4 fresh tires is Tony Stewart in 5th, battling Greg Biffle. Let's go to Biffle's pit and Kristen.
With crew chief Greg Irwin, and car was sick to start the run, then it went loose, and then you made the decision to take 2 tires. Why that decision, and how is the car now?
We had an equalized right rear tire on that first stop. Lost a lot of track position there. The car just drives so much better up front, but our 3M post-infusion was really good at the start of the race. We're just trying to maybe capitalize, get a little read on later in the race, see what 2 tires does.
All right, thanks, Greg. Yeah, and sick equals good. That's how good it was at the start of the race.
All right.
Need to explain an equalized tire. These tires have an inner liner. It's a safety shield, and you run the air pressure about 12 to 20 pounds higher in that inner liner. If you get a leak between the inner liner and the outer tire, it's what we call equalized. The air pressure equalized, and it causes a very bad vibration in the tire.
And Jimmy Johnson has backed up to 9th place with 4 fresh tires. What's up, Steve?
Thought he had a flat tire, Mike. He just told Chad Knaus that he backed off to make sure everything was okay. It's fine. It's not a flat, but he thought so for a moment.
Watch him back up in front of the 33 of Boyer here, because this almost stacked up half the field.
You could see the car step out on him, and that right there is where he rolled out of the throttle to make sure. And you're right, between Boyer, the 33, Montoya, and the 42 could have been big.
What do you think went through his mind right at that point? The race last fall here, same kind of deal. He got stepped out on him a little bit, and Sam Hornish, and he come together.
I thought you were going to say his first thought was, where's that 77 car?
Jamie Mack in the Bass Pro Shop Chevy having a strong run here as Tony Stewart comes around the outside for 4th place. Dick?
McMurray started in the 15th spot, Mike, and he is having a terrific run today. Right from the get-go, that car has been close to the way McMurray wants it. Early on, it was just a little bit tight. By lap 63, he said he didn't think the crew should change anything on the pit stops. He restarted 5th, picked up 1 spot. McMurray now in the 4th position.
You know, this has always been a good racetrack for Jamie. I can remember when he drove back for Chip Ganassi and Felix Sabates. It was always a good racetrack for him. He's actually going to be doing some double duty. He's actually driving the car for JR Motorsports for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the Nationwide Series for a few races, including this afternoon.
At what, 5 o'clock or 4 o'clock they're going to start that Nationwide race this afternoon. It was rained out on Saturday. Jeff Burton has been gobbled up by Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, this is a battle for 2nd between the 2 Jeffs.
Remember, Burton's one of those guys we said, you know, just keep an eye on him and Kenseth and Mark Martin. Those are 3 guys that quietly slipped their way up into the top 5 or 6 before the day's over with. Whoa!
Turn 2, Sam Hornish had been running that high line successfully. No more.
Lock it down, lock it down. All right, we didn't hit nothing, Travis. We spun. We'll need time.
That car has been severe loose ever since the race started.
Watch the white hood of that white 77.
Just there she goes, loose in like that. There's nothing you can do. Loose, folks. See those rear tires smoking? That's loose.
Darrell Heat almost saved it and then locked her down. Sam Hornish too fast entering the pits. He goes to the tail end of the line. Dale Jr., Jamie Mack, David Rudiman, Clint Boyer, Mark Martin, Denny Hamlin. Here we go.
And those top 10 cars from Dale Earnhardt Jr., now Jamie McMurray, back through Matt Kenseth, all those cars stayed out on that caution.
Well, McMurray, what a runoff, too. Got that high side on. Shot around Dale Jr. and into the lead.
This time it's Clint Boyer who backed up the field coming out of turn 2, and they're all stacked up behind Boyer.
a little bit. Oh, Boyer's got a problem. He's got a tire down or something. He's in the way.
And he could not get to pit road that time. He's going to have to go another 1.5 miles to get back there if he indeed has a problem.
I believe.
Hang on, man. Hold your line here. Hold your line. Got a bunch of them coming.
Now they swept the track down at that end, so Boyer gets up that high, does not spin as Hornish did.
I almost believe it's a right front on Boyer's car on the 33 because it looked soft when it went by here.
We stay under green, and it's Jamie McMurray, the Daytona 500 winner, to lead them around in front of Dale Jr. and David Rudiman.
But I'm going to tell you what, last time through 3 and 4, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 88 was eating that rear bumper of that one car of McMurray's.
I think McMurray got just a great run off of high side there, and that's how he got around you. Whoa, you see the back of that 88 step out. There's a slick spot over there off turn 2. Right when you see that black patch right there?
Whoa.
That'll knock the car loose sometime if you hit it under power, kind of crossing it.
But that was down in 3 and 4 the last time. It's almost like Dale Jr. in the 88 picked up the throttle so quick he got loose. Matt, how about the 33?
Not exactly sure which tire it is, not taking a chance. Shane went with 4.
They lose a lap in the process. Meanwhile, early leaders, Tony Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Greg Biffle, they're caught up in a mess of traffic here.
Oh, baby, that's a wad right there.
From Martin Truex.
Look at them fighting for position here, trying to get, they're just in the throttle, out of the throttle. Cars are a little dicey. Don't believe that rear spoiler's having much of an effect on running side by side or nose to tail.
Doesn't seem to be.
If it's done anything, it's tightened them up.
Reagan passes Truex. Now Kane, the man in the middle, as they go by Keselowski.
But Keselowski in that 12 car, he's stacking them up in the middle of both ends of the racetrack, especially like down in 1 and 2 the last time.
Burton behind him now, and Regan Smith. And Keselowski couldn't get to the bottom, get to the bottom either.
Larry, I know these cars have got to be really handling good, and they got to have good solid downforce on them to be able to run together like that at 190, 200 miles an hour. See Burton here going to the outside of Keselowski in the 12, making that pass.
Of course, Jeff Burton in that 31 car, he's still on the lead lap, had that penalty the last time the caution came in.
Through him.
Man, I'll say.
So Stewart's trying to race his way back to the front where he started the day. And we mentioned Jeff Burton, who had to serve that pit road penalty and restarted 30th. Burton has climbed all the way back to 14th.
Now, you know, Mike, looking at our top 5, and I was just about to mention the 5 car could be one of those cars. I think he was actually complaining about a vibration, but for a lot of those guys that stayed out under the last caution, which would include Mark Martin, this is almost a scheduled pit stop, Matt.
Larry Mack, he was trying to inch it ever so closer to that window opening. Mark been complaining about the car having the vibration. Alan Gubson put it in his hands. He said, we've been ready for you. You have to come whenever you feel like you really need to come. The car had been tight. Left side tires going on. He's away.
Well, I would say we're going to see Dale Earnhardt Jr., his teammate in the 88, David Rudiman, the 00, Denny Hamlin in the 11. They should be coming to pit road within the next 4 to 6 laps, 4 scheduled green flag stops.
These two guys right here, Mike, Larry, they have been going at each other. Rudiman in the 00 and Jimmy Johnson in the 48. I mean, they've been like this right here for a number of laps, backs and forth.
And Denny Hamlin has caught them. Some of the drivers that have been struggling. Mark Martin, you saw make a pit stop.
Coming through, look out.
Excuse me.
Kyle Busch has dropped back and continues to fall positions. He just dropped to 17th with Casey Kane going past Kyle. Sam Hornish, we've related Sam's trouble. Sam does, however, he is still on the lead lap, although he's had his woes today, and he's still in the top 20 after starting on the outside pole. There's a look at Sam battling Marcus Ambrose off turn 4.
We're getting a report that they are taking a look at turn 1, possibly some debris there. And, you know, we got a lot of guys sweating bullets right now because we have so many different agendas going as far as when the last time some of these cars were on pit road.
Among the leaders, Dale Jr., Rudiman, Hamlin, and Busch. Lap 101 was the last time we saw Jr. on pit road. Here he is 54 laps later, making a stop under green.
pretty much been right on cue, 54 to 58 laps. How about it, Maddie?
Absolutely. And you could have taken a roll call. So many teams, DW, looking at the tire that came off Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s teammate, Mark Martin. Dale's, the car, if anything, was just a tick on the loose side. Good solid stop going on by the 88 guys. What a way for this team to continue. Dale Jr. said it as he roars away. They just feel like each week they make more and more steps getting closer to victory lane. Maybe today is that day.
Ryan Newman and Jamie McMurray are in, Dick.
Well, Newman's car is much better than it has been, Mike. They're going to make some minor adjustments to the car. It's still not perfect the way Newman likes it, but this will give them the chance to do it. The wrench is in the back window. Just a very minor adjustment on Newman's car.
4 tires for McMurray. Matt Kenseth is in, 2 spots ahead of Jamie as we begin green flag pit stops. And it'll be 4 tires for Kenseth. Dick?
Well, it's a good thing that Kenseth is in right now, Mike. He was really concerned about that right rear tire on his car and said he didn't want to have happen to him what had happened to Vickers, which was an exploded right rear.
Joey Logano's had a great day. He started tail end of the field after an engine change, but on each green flag run, he's roared right up through the pack. Here comes Denny Hamlin and David Rudiman and Robbie Gordon. Steve.
The 00 is going to pit David Rudiman. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. 4 tires as well. He says his car has gotten better. Dick?
And Denny Hamlin is in as well for a 4-tire change. No worries at all about that left knee today. There isn't even a driver standing by to relieve him. Hamlin positive he's going to run the entire event.
Thanks, Dick. Regan Smith is in as we continue under green with Jeff Gordon the leader over Jimmy Johnson by 5.5 seconds.
Now this group here, which would include our leader Jeff Gordon in the 24 car, they should be able to go another 8 to 10 laps. The only car that has not pitted that stayed out the last time is Kurt Busch in the 2 car right now running in the 3rd position. Should be on pit road shortly.
That 2 car, Larry, you mentioned him. He's getting better and better and better. I've been watching him. He keeps inching forward to front.
Clint Boyer was last in at lap 118, but here he is along with Scott Speed in the pit lane. And now Kurt Busch will make his appearance on pit road. And then, as Larry said, we should get a break before we have more takers because everyone else last stopped at lap 113. So Boyer getting 4 tires, and here comes Kurt Busch toward Matt.
And he brought back the race car. He went to victory lane with Mike back at the Atlanta Motor Speedway sister track at Texas. Easy into his boxes of 33 of Boyer leaves. Now for Busch, he's been on both sides of the fence, tight and loose. You can see they've already completed the chassis adjustment. Also, Steve Addington going to go with a slight air pressure change as well. When he runs the bottom in 1 and 2, he's at least a 10th better. So that's where he's been trying to run the past 10 to 12 laps.
Daryl, Larry, what kind of danger do we have right now with a bunch of cars out there on fresh rubber and a bunch more that are going to try to stretch this out another dozen or so laps?
I'm glad you mentioned that because Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 88 car, is clicking off laps right now around 30 flat. We just saw his teammate Jeff Gordon, like the 24, the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. They are almost a second slower right now on their tires than Dale Earnhardt Jr. is with those fresh tires.
Well, now Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart have come to pit road. Sam Hornish is also in, and Greg Biffle. So more of the leaders, seeing that give up against the cars with fresh tires, are on pit road. Krista.
Greg Biffle says he needs his car just a little bit tighter in, so Greg Irwin going to make the change with a little bit of wedge for the 16. Remember, they were loose in, so he just needs his car a little bit tighter. Matt?
Chassis adjustment across the back for the 14 of Tony Stewart. His car is too much on the free side, which is what it's been the last few stops. A good tear up, great grab, getting that tear off the windshield. The 18 of Kyle Busch, he's been struggling, trying to run top 15 most of this race. At one point they said, no, if we were going to try to fix it, we'd have to go back to the garage because they might have missed it setup-wise, but they're not giving up still, trying to take stabs at getting this race car the feel that Busch needs. Significant adjustments on the last stops for the 18. They're going to go for another chassis adjustment again for Busch. Krista?
Kevin Harvick has been moving up consistently. In fact, his car, one of the fastest ones out there right now. He's saying he's just a little too tight. So we're going to make a small adjustment, air pressure adjustment for the 29. He loves the tracks where he gets to slide around and stay in the throttle. That's what he's able to do, a 4-tire stop. Steve.
Well, Krista, Jimmy Johnson of the 48 says, I'm turning that right rear fan off so I can start rolling better. Now, he's also said he's gotten loose on throttle on the bottom because the left rear is wearing out. The 31 of Jeff Burton also on pit road. He has the very first stall off turn 4.
David Reagan, Paul Menard also stopped. Martin Truex. Steve.
Sorry, Mike. Jeff Gordon also coming in now. He said my car was loose at the start of the run, then all of a sudden it got tight. Steve Letarte said, remember, you had mismatched tires. They went 2 rights, then 2 lefts. This time it's 4. Jeff said we're not very good right now. Tight in the corners, loose getting off.
Casey Kane, Jeff Burton have also made stops. Here comes David Gilliland. We're pretty well through this round of green flag stops. Looking for Montoya and Travis Quapple to come to pit road, and that will pretty much complete this, and Bobby Labonte among our lead lap cars.
Now, what's going to be interesting to watch is the 88 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr., who just went by the start-finish line. He's actually going off into turn 1. Remember, pitted 10 laps before Jeff Gordon is where he's going to come out of relationship, and it looks like to me he's going to almost have a straightaway on that 24 car by the time Jeff gets up to speed.
Could have had more, but he and Scott Speed, he could not get around Scott Speed, who had just pitted just prior to Junior pitting.
Quapple and Gilliland are on pit road along with Montoya. Krista.
Montoya had taken 2 tires on the last stop. It's a 4-tire stop. He's saying his car was a lot harder to drive on that run.
Max Pappas has made his stop. Brian Vickers, Bill Elliott, and Kevin Conway. That'll complete green flag pit stops. Let's take another look at Jeff Gordon's stop.
This was that last stop. We think, Darrell, maybe a little bit of an issue on the left rear.
Yeah, he's, you see the tire changer. He can't get the lug nut off, and he had to reach in there with his hands and undo them. That took a little bit longer. Doesn't take much.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, David Rudiman, Jeff Gordon, Jimmy Johnson. We're just past halfway.
Solidly in the top 10 and 6. The bad news, a half a lap down to leader Jeff Gordon in the 24.
Started from the pole for the first time in 4 years. In 7th, Paul Menard continues to impress in the Menards Ford. With all of his family's success in open wheel, particularly IndyCar racing, Paul has driven an IndyCar only once. He tested at Pikes Peak, said that's enough of that. Montoya has been in the wall in turn 2.
I don't see any tires down.
Caution is out. He left a long black stripe beginning at the Whelen billboard all the way over to the turn 2 condos. Up on the wall.
Huge break for Joey Logano, Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick. In fact, Matt Kenseth, who went a lap down a while ago because they pitted early, got advantage of those fresh tires. They're back on the lead lap.
Looks like a right rear.
45 in front, same out back.
See if we hear anything.
Hit the wall there. Keep digging. Got a flat tire.
So that will pretty much end the sequence of off-cycle pit stops as the caution flies for the 5th time today for Montoya. Ryan Newman, last week's winner in Phoenix, will receive the free pass and get back on the lead lap.
This will put everyone with about 100 laps to go in a one-stop window easily to make the end of this race.
It's also going to change the complexion of this race considerably because now issues can be resolved before we go into this last little run here.
And I think we've been saying this for 10 years. Cautions breed cautions, especially in the last third of the race.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
Well, Jeff Gordon's lead is erased over Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, and David Rudiman. Hamlin, the first Toyota in the race. The first Ford is Paul Menard in 7th. And the first Dodge is Kurt Busch in 10th. Pit road will be open, and yes, they have a new commitment cone out there. Let's hope nobody gets to that. Steve Burns.
Listening to the Hendrick Motorsports teammates, Jimmy Johnson says the chassis was freer on entry, but still too tight. Jeff Gordon, his teammate, says we're loose on early entry, we're loose on late exit, but we're good. 4 tires for both of those teams. Dick.
Denny Hamlin pits out of the 4th position. Crew Chief Mike Ford called for a very small adjustment. Hamlin asked for a smaller adjustment still. Concerned about the right front blistering. Matt.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. said, I am wrecking on the bottom. I'm wrecking pretty much everywhere on the racetrack. Track bar adjustment. Also, Lance McGrew would try to tighten him up with an air pressure change again for the 3rd straight stop. Lengthy stop. He loses a few spots on pit road.
I want you to see how Jimmy Johnson and Jeff Burton came all the way down pit road side by side. Burton gained 5 spots, but he just didn't want to inch up past Johnson. Didn't want to get caught by the speeding police.
I don't like that 2-tire strategy this late in the race.
No, sir.
236 laps complete. We're getting ready to go back to green. It's out at Texas. They would have had about 170,000 had we been able to run yesterday. 97 laps to go. Let's crank it up for the restart.
Tell you what, we got a little rivalry going on here today, boys. That 48 and Jimmy Johnson 24, Jeff Gordon, they are after each other. You wouldn't know they're teammates today, would you, Larry?
No, but it looks like the 48's a little better getting in the corner. When he runs the high line, he can hold his ground on the exit. 24 cars are not going quite as deep, Jeff Gordon, as that 48 car is going in the corner.
48's a little tight getting in. You can drive it in a little bit harder if it'll stick.
But look at the aggression and the drive shown by Jeff Gordon.
Whoa, they hit, I'm telling you.
I don't know if he has the best car, but Jeff Gordon has the drive to win this race.
Remember they came by here a little bit ago pushing each other. That time they bounced off each other.
And you know what? I love it. I love Jeff Gordon showing his kind of aggression in that 24 car. Don't back down to nobody.
Well, did you see that piece we did in the pre-race show yesterday where he was out playing with the military? I think he got a little bit of aggression going on. Now Jimmy Johnson's got a left front tire rub. That is trouble.
Burton behind him, then Biffle.
Earl, take a look for some tire smoke there.
Kurt Busch and Hamlin. Hamlin's going to fall to Carl Edwards, then Kyle Busch.
Jimmy Johnson cannot mess around with that left front tire rub. You see that Jeff got up under him, got him loose, and Jimmy Johnson tried to come back down into the side of the 48. I don't think it was intentional.
And also on that restart, Kyle Busch and Paul Menard roughed up each other in turn number 2. Menard's dropped back a little bit. There's his bright yellow-green car.
But Darrell, that's classic Texas Motor Speedway. It narrows up so much on the exit of turn 4.
It really does. I'm just a little bit concerned about Jimmy Johnson's left front tire rub, though. I've seen that blow out a left front tire.
Well, you might have to explain all this to Tony Stewart in post-race because he is running away. Stewart quickly opens up 1.3 seconds on Jeff Gordon. Johnson, Burton, and Biffle, the top 5. Kurt Busch, Hamlin, Rudeman, Earnhardt, and Kenseth.
If this goes like it's been going, though, Mike, this situation with Tony Stewart, that's a short-term gain, and Jeff Gordon in the 24, that's a long-term gain.
How about Jeff Burton out there with no fresh tires? They gained 5 spots on pit road, and so far, since the restart, Burton's held his own in 4th.
Pretty impressed because he did have 15 laps on those tires, but remember, they've been
to go while running in 7th place. Looks like David Rudeman's engine grenaded. And then, as the oil got out of that engine and onto the headers, fire erupted from beneath the 00.
Like John Force for him. Look at that turbulence behind that car, though.
And what a great run he was having, running in the 6th, 7th position. Steve Burns, I think it's going to be busy pit road.
Larry Mack, big break for Jimmy Johnson. He was going to be 9 laps short of making it to the end. Now, Jeff Gordon has just said the grip has gone away and don't know why, and I'm a little tight in the middle. Jimmy Johnson, meanwhile, said that the car is not as consistent as it's been when I get on the throttle. Let's go to Dick.
Denny Hamlin, a 2-tire change. He's gone already.
And Burton gambled again. He may get out first.
Jeff Gordon had a bad stop. Another left side problem.
Matt.
And the stop already completed for both Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Tony Stewart, right side tire.
Jeff Burton picked up 3 spots. They've gambled again, and we'll see how it pays off.
And look at there, the Hendrick cars for the most part go with 4 tires, the 48 of Johnson, the 24 of Jeff Gordon.
Tony Stewart picks up 4 spots. Kyle Busch gains 6 positions with a 2-tire stop.
Not sure what happened in a 24 pit, but something did.
Jimmy Johnson stopped, down, away, attaboy.
Did they get jacked up or what?
Yes, they did. But like they pointed out, like Steve pointed out, a great break for that 48 car because it looked like they were not going to be able to make it to the end on fuel.
This is the 19th Sprint Cup race at Texas. It's the 11th one that has seen a caution after the 300 lap mark.
Darrell, now I know that we've been all over the place with strategy at the end of these races, but that's just one caution where we're going to go back racing without 20 to go. I think the 24 car had to do 4. You can't give a race away because you went with 2, but I definitely do not disagree with the decision on these cars at the front of going with 2 tires. Maybe their only hope of beating that 24 car.
I just want somebody to do something different. Gamble.
Play cards.
Do something. Quit doing what everybody else does.
Jeff Burton has been caught with penalties, including today, and he has rebounded. Back at caution flag number 4, lap 113. Watch the 31 behind Dale Jr. Looks like he's going to stay out, so Jeff Gordon dives for the pit lane. That means Burton can't get in, and when you hit that cone, you're going for a solo trip down pit road at pace car speed and pay the price. And Burton did just that. Here's another look at it. Gordon kind of boxes him out from changing his mind, and the penalty meant that Burton went to the tail end of the field for the restart at lap 116.
I'm not so sure that Burton just didn't out-trick himself, you know, faking it and then deciding trying to do something to Jeff Gordon and end up biting him.
He lost 25 or more positions from where he was at that moment. Fox NASCAR next Sunday at Talladega. Fox Saturday Baseball coming at you this weekend. America's pastime off to a great start on Fox. Yankees, Angels, Mariners, White Sox. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. Saturday. In the last 14 races, Jeff Burton's led only 1 lap here prior to today. And that was the winning lap in April of 2007.
And the leader of the most laps has only won 2 out of the last 7.
Today that would be Jeff Gordon. So Burton went and dropped 30 spots from that penalty, and Chris, he's made them all back up.
Yeah, Mike, it's been a recovery Monday for guys like Jeff Burton and even Denny Hamlin. When you think about the surgery with Jeff Hamlin at the Hollywood Hotel getting ready for the finish and the unpredictability that we've had, we were watching closely Jeff Gordon's last pit stop, and as they were just talking, he's led the most laps, 124 today. Doesn't mean you're going to end up winning the race.
Well, no, it doesn't mean you're going to wind up winning the race. But again, they've been kind of up and down all day long. They've been having problems on the exchange on the right rear, slow stops. They've been fast enough all day to overcome it. But now this getting down to crunch time, whether now or not this last change is going to affect Jeff mentally, I think he's on a mission. I think Darrell and all the guys up in the booth have kind of pointed it out. We are seeing a different Jeff Gordon. He's very aggressive. He's not going to take any prisoners today. So it'll be interesting when they drop the green flag what's going to happen.
Well, we've seen a different Jeff Burton too. Both Jeffs are very aggressive, but lucky and good for the 48 team. You heard about the fuel and how they might have come up short. They get the caution. Where is their position in terms of pulling this out? Currently 7th here.
Well, the thing is, when you look at the 48 car, NASCAR, you know what kind of a closer he is. Somehow or another, he digs deep. Every time he gets close to the end of a race, he figures out a way to get to the front and be a contender. Today, he's got himself in the right position because he's got 4 tires and he's in front of the guy, or at least starting beside the guy that he's had to beat all day long, his teammate Jeff Gordon.
All right, let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
I just love the wave around, because if this was a year ago, we would be talking about where the leaders restarting in the middle of the field. But these guys, they would have been on the tail end of the lead lap last year. They would have just been in the wave. Now they're on the tail end of the lead lap at the rear of the field.
15 cars take the wave around so that the leader can line up right behind the pace car, and it looks like Burton has elected the inside. Tony Stewart will be on the outside for the restart.
And the closer we get to the end of the race, the less gamble doing the wave around is, because you know you may get a caution. You'll get a chance to get back on the lead lap, get in there and get fresh tires if that caution comes back out.
Yeah, you just clean up the front of the field to where the guys that are racing each other are racing each other. Nobody mixed in the middle of them.
So we'll now have 21 cars on the lead lap, another 7 cars 1 lap down, and 4 cars 2 laps back. So on the front row, Burton and Stewart, Hamlin and Earnhardt, Biffle and Kyle Busch, Jimmy Johnson with Jeff Gordon at row 4, Edwards and Kenseth in row 5.
Which line do you like, Larry? You like inside? You like outside?
I believe I like the outside line now, because I think we've got some grip on the top side of the racetrack. Let's get that thing wound up.
18 to go.
Boy, look at Dale Earnhardt Jr. 3 wide through 1 and 2. The hole wasn't big enough for him.
He had to lift, and maybe so did Tony, because here comes the inside, and it's the Gibbs Toyotas. Hamlin and Busch to the inside. Junior regains his momentum. He may be able to hold on to third here.
I think the 24 is going to get boxed right here as they try to go 3
4
wide.
wide. 4 wide. 4 wide. Stewart Gordon's right into the wall. There's Edwards, Allmendinger.
Oh no, what mess.
Gordon and Stewart, and then cars trying to sweep by on the outside. Menard, Montoya, McMurray, Harvick, or rather Boyer, all get caught up in it.
What a wadded up mess.
The big one in Texas takes the pole sitter and the driver who's led the most laps, Gordon. And look who's left.
I think you'll see somebody gets into Tony Stewart. Can't remember. Let's see. He's on the
Stewart's
outside.
in the 14. And here comes Biffle on the bottom.
Yeah, we're going to go 3 wide. We're going to try to go 3 wide right here. You see Gordon forces his way by right there. Then
Edwards.
Edwards got into the back of Stewart and got him into Gordon in the 24 car.
Allmendinger, there's McMurray.
And there they all go.
Menard,
Boyer.
Logano.
Boy, look at Ryan Newman.
Great job. Scott Speed.
Just snuck through there.
That's called bobbing and weaving. You see here, it gets this so bottled up. Not a lot of room to work. Trying to go 3 wide right here. Here comes Carl with the run up on the outside. Carl in the 99, Edwards.
I think Gordon touch Stewart just a little bit.
But touch there. But then when he does, Edwards has got a hit into the back of the 14 of Tony Stewart.
I don't think Gordon got into Stewart enough to move him. The contact from Edwards, though,
I think what happened was Stewart broke a little momentum. Edwards had it in the 99, had that great run coming off 4, and they got together.
Oh, I agree. That's why Edwards got into Stewart. As we get ready to go green, it'll be 12 laps to go. Green flag.
Dead heat so far as we head to turn 1.
Junior looks low, way low on Burton. No room.
That outside looks like it could get the push off of turn 2. Hamlin's there. Burton fighting back.
It'll be a drag race down the back straightaway. Who will drive it the deepest going into turn 3?
We're going to go in there 3 wide again.
Watch Kyle Busch. He's got a real good run as he comes off of turn 4. He laid off those guys. Going to get ahead of steam, see if he can do anything.
Burton, Hamlin at the line. Hamlin by inches.
I think Hamlin got the best run off turn 4, but here comes Kyle Busch, that 18 car now. 3 wide through 1 and 2.
Burton had to slam the door. Up it slid. Here comes Kyle.
And here comes Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car. He's going to go by Burton in the 31.
We're going to find out about side draft right here. Oh, and Jr. got loose.
And it upset the 31 car of Jeff Burton. That allows the 11 of Hamlin, the 18 of Kyle Busch to pull away.
Now we have 2 new teammates battling for the lead.
10 laps to go.
And Jimmy Johnson, with those 4 tires, is looking for some daylight. Whoa, he got up in the wall there. He just scraped the wall off 2.
I think he was getting greedy that time through those 4 tires. He's going to slide back.
Pushed it a little too hard, but he's going to fight back on the high side as he gets into turn 3.
The Gibbs Toyotas, Denny Hamlin, driving hurt, coming off knee surgery, trying to hold off his teammate Kyle Busch, while Dale Jr. tries to pull the rest of the train back up to the leader.
It doesn't surprise me about Hamlin. That car's been good all afternoon. Kyle Busch, on the other hand, I would have never thought we'd see him up here battling for a win or for the lead. I believe that 11 car, he's going to check out on these boys.
What's the best medicine? Winning.
Or looking out that windshield and seeing nothing in front of you but daylight. 8 to go this time.
Matt Kenseth will have to pit, we're told. And Greg Biffle has trouble.
And
Jeff Burton has been in the wall.
Yeah, he just hit the wall as well. He's in trouble.
When you come down to the end of the race like this, you don't have the grip in the car, but you want to give it all you got. You're going to hit things.
I got the wall.
7 laps to go this time.
Look at
Junior
that 11 car go.
Junior is inching up on the 18, but can he catch him?
And I'm going to tell you what, Denny Hamlin, that 11 car just ran the fastest lap that he's run in these 320-something laps 2 laps ago.
Clean air out front.
Jimmy Johnson still on the high side, trying to catch Kurt Busch for 4th.
And
gets a good run off the corner.
And those magic words, Mike, you're pulling away.
Dick.
Matt Kenseth suspected tire problems. They were going to pit, decided at the very last instant, stay out, Mike.
Must have a flat tire.
Yeah,
you can see the right rear is down.
And right now, he's the last car on the lead lap, but he's going to have to come to pit road. Boy, this battle just will not go away. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 gets a good run off the corner, but Kurt Busch wins the battle down the straightaway. Look at him go to the high side through 3 and 4.
Oh, easy, boys, easy.
Busch gives him room.
Got to give him a little room, and he does. That's very gentlemanly of him.
Johnson may get the spot, and they have caught Dale Jr. for 3rd. 5 to go.
Johnson was on a tear. He was coming, but he got up into the fence a little bit off of turn 2 a couple of laps ago, and it really broke his momentum.
There's the separation.
He's going
as
by
Jimmy
Junior.
Johnson catches and passes Dale Earnhardt Jr. for 3rd.
Too little, too late for the 48.
Yeah, because right now, Jimmy Johnson just ran a 29.71. Our leader, Denny Hamlin, 29.82. 4 to go.
Jeff Burton restarted first. He's drifted back to 12th. He'll get a lead lap finish out of this, as now Kurt Busch goes after Junior.
You know what? I've said this. I said it last week at Phoenix. I'll say it again today. You find out what somebody's made of, what kind of character they got, what kind of effort they'll put out when they play hurt. And this cat, Denny Hamlin, had surgery a week and a half ago on his left knee.
3 to go.
Toughed it out last week in Phoenix, when everybody thought he should have vacated that car at the battery change.
Just sent him a strong message. He sent a strong message to his team and to the competition. I don't roll over.
Well, I'm going to tell you who will not roll over either. It might be too little too late. Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car outside of Kyle Busch in the 18. Battle for 2nd. They'll come to the line. 2 to go.
Whoa, Johnson is dirt tracking it off of turn 4. There,
2 laps.
He's got 2 laps. I don't know. He just picked up a ton on that lap, 29.74 to 30.17.
And that was passing a car.
He's going to be on his bumper when they come to get the white flag.
It was 0.9 of a second. Hamlin's lead with 2 to go. Johnson ate up 0.4 the previous lap.
See what he does. They'll be coming to the white flag this time.
Closing. He's closing. It's going to be mighty, mighty close. 1 to go. One's driving offensively and one's driving defensively.
Last week, Denny Hamlin had to be helped into his car. He's got to get half a lap more out of it.
Man,
Johnson
he's
closing
coming.
hard.
Look at the run he got off turn 2. He'll go to the high side through 3 and 4.
He's going to be right on his bumper, but he isn't going to make it.
Denny Hamlin off turn number 4. Playing hurt for Coach Joe Gibbs. Hamlin delivers on time. He wins in Texas.
The 011 car goes to victory circle. Heard that before.
He's won 2 out of the last 3 races, one right before surgery, one 2 weeks after.
It is Denny Hamlin's 10th start in Texas, his first victory here.
Good job, Mike.
Congratulating his crew chief. He did not lead
Not
this
bad
race.
Yourself. Everybody did a good job. That's the way you race right there. Good job.
He didn't lead this race until lap 323 of 334.
But Mike,
we finished the race in regulation.
You could hear it in Denny Hamlin's voice. He is used up.
And he becomes the 16th driver to win at Texas Motor Speedway and has now won 2 of the last 3 Sprint Cup races.
I tell you, a couple of drivers that rebounded nicely. Casey Kane in that 9 car finished 5th. How about Mark Martin? Got lapped earlier. 6th place finish for that 5.
He did that last week at Phoenix, Mark. Finished 4th after running about 15th all day.
Denny Hamlin lights him up. There's the coach. They'll all head for victory lane when we come back.
Promotional considerations provided by
1 week ago, Denny Hamlin gingerly lifted his left leg, guided it past the roll bar, and did the turn, swivel, and slide gently into the driver's seat. Today, he'll drive to victory lane.
What I'm talking about. Texas, baby.
What a resurgence. What a recovery. What a comeback. Matt Yoakum's in victory lane.
And it seems appropriate, the place where you get 6 shooters for scoring a huge win. What a big shootout. What type of message does that send everyone about the desire and motivation of you and this team?
Well, we definitely don't give up. It sucks. We always got to come from the back, and that's a lot of us driver. We always have to start in the back, but I never doubt this race team, and Mike Ford just did a great job there at the end. Got to thank the whole 11 team, everyone at FedEx and all the employees. It's a great win for them. And the fans. I've never seen so many fans on a Monday night or a Monday race like this before. So can't thank them enough. Got to thank Sprint, Coca-Cola, Toyota, and everyone, JGR, Wiley X. It's just a great day for our race team.
You said at one point on the last restart you thought it was going to be a crash or you're going to win it, and then you kept saying on the cooldown lap, I just can't believe it.
This is not the type of racetrack people characterize us being strong at. They always say we're a short track team, and when we won Homestead last year, it was a sign of things to come. And I know we got some good race cars in our stable, and we're just going to keep better and keep getting better and keep working towards the chase. And hopefully, by the time we get there, we'll peak.
Your friend and spotter Curtis Markham said you can go ahead and do the burnout, but be careful of the knee. How is the knee?
I'm still.
You did a nice burnout.
I'm trying to get it straight right now. I'm working on it. So by the time this interview's over, we'll have it straightened and. Like I said, I did it for the long run. I did it for the chase. I did it for the championship in the long run. So even though I knew I was going to take some steps back and, sacrifice a month or so, that I knew once I came back I was going to be stronger.
Your cowboy hat, your 6 shooters, and a very large, big Texas-sized trophy awaits you.
Thank you.
Great day for Denny Hamlin. There he is getting out of the car at victory lane, favoring that knee just a bit that doesn't want to extend and stretch all the way. We tied a record for lead changes today with 29. It's the 2nd win here for Joe Gibbs. Tony Stewart scored for Gibbs here in November of 2006. A very competitive race, but wow, what a pileup that took so many great contenders out of the race.
It really did, and that's a shame. But one thing that just jumps out at me so obvious is when the coach of the Washington Redskins is inducted into the Texas Hall of Fame here at the Speedway, Joe Gibbs, that tells you that you're off to a pretty good start this weekend. Plus, this is the team. There he is right there, Coach Gibbs. This is the team that most people say could win the championship this year.
And, you know, you go back a couple of races ago at Martinsville, we all felt like that 4 tires at the end of that race for Denny Hamlin and Mike Ford was the wrong call. They still went the victory lane. Even though I felt like 4 tires was the way to go, like Steve Letarte and Chad Canals did with their drivers, I did not feel like that 2 tires was the wrong call by no means, because, again, track position seemed to be so critical. And now Texas, 19 races, 16 different winners.
Wow. Now it's on to Talladega. I think our questions about the rear spoiler have been answered. Great competition, a surprise and yet grateful winner. Chris, what more could you ask for?
19 days after surgery, and Hamlin wins. And for those that have questions, is a NASCAR driver an athlete? Yes, without question. And some are tougher than others. Denny Hamlin, a terrific performance today.
Not a terrific performance. It was stupendous in my opinion. I mean, he showed so much heart, Chris. I mean, you don't understand. I mean, you had knee problems. I've had knee problems. You can't imagine what it'd be like to be stuck inside that race car for 500 miles. All of a sudden, win a race, you see him right there.
Checking it out.
He's going through. I mean,
he's in pain.
He's in pain right now.
He's in a lot of pain.
He's loving this win, but he's hurting. He is hurting big time.
And one of his members said over the radio, winning with a one-legged driver and a half-brained crew chief, kind of having some fun with Mike Ford, but they were able to pull it out.